In this video, I'm going to explain to you a very simple daily routine that you can follow if you're learning Spanish. It's going to be something you can literally implement from today. I'm going to give you all the resources that you need. And what this is going to help you to do is create some structure around your Spanish learning so you can get to the next level that bit faster. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Jonathan. I actually started learning Spanish through immersion and like comprehensible input back in February 2021. I set myself the goal that I wanted to become conversationally fluent by November, my birthday, because I wanted to do like a trip to Spain and speak to the natives there in Spanish. And I actually ended up accomplishing it. So I documented on my Instagram. I ended up going to Madrid and I also went to Barcelona. I really enjoyed myself there. Good times for sure. Like I actually have really good memories of this trip. But anyways, since then I've done a few interviews just explaining the process I went through. So this is the interview I did with Mike Ben, and this is also the interview I did with Pablo. Big shout out to those guys because they helped me a lot when it came to learning Spanish. But today what I wanted to do, guys, is just show you a very simple daily routine that you can follow literally from today to start to improve your Spanish. Now, this is actually going to be in the form of a 60-day challenge. And we're calling it the 60 by 60 Spanish challenge because all it is we're going to do 60 minutes of Spanish for 60 consecutive days. Okay, 60 minutes for 60 consecutive days. Now, you might be thinking, wow, that's not that much time. I mean, I'm trying to hit fluency by next week or by next month. You're only saying 60 days. There's a reason. You're only saying 60 minutes. Sorry, there's a reason for that. And the reason being is because we actually want to prioritize consistency rather than intensity, because we'll come back to that at the end. So the whole point of this challenge is actually more so for you to get in the flow of consistently being with Spanish, consistently learning or acquiring Spanish. And interestingly, the main thing here isn't necessarily sitting down to study Spanish or sitting down to force yourself to learn it. It's more so putting yourself in an environment whereby you have a routine whereby naturally you're consuming more Spanish every single day. So how does this work? Well, the way we're going to break it down is based on your current level. Okay. And this whole challenge is going to be mainly based on immersion. There will be some output depending on the level that you're at the moment. But the way we're going to split it is we're going to split it into two groups. Okay, so there's group 1, group 2, or level 1, level 2, or there's option 1 or option 2. Let's go with option. Okay, so option 1 is if you're in a position right now, you're learning Spanish, but you can't yet understand a native level series. And when I say understand, I mean like, let's say you're to put on right now a Spanish show for natives. If you're not able to easily follow what's going on and understand, let's say about 60% of what's being said. So you don't have to understand everything, but if you're struggling to follow what's going on, you don't understand at least 60% of what's being said, I'm going to recommend option 1 for you. Okay, option 1. Now, if you are in a position whereby you actually can understand the series, at least 60% of it is not a challenge to like following what's going on isn't a challenge. Maybe there's some words you don't understand, but at least 60% of it, you're understanding what's going on. I'm going to recommend option 2 for you. Okay. Now, both option 1 and option 2 are we're going to do 60 minutes. Okay, we're only going to do 60 minutes for this challenge. But if you're in option 1, here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to do 30 minutes of Dreaming Spanish. Now, if you don't know what Dreaming Spanish is, I would definitely recommend looking up Dreaming Spanish. It's essentially probably one of the most key fundamental tools that you can use to learn Spanish. And what it is going to be a collection of many videos that's going to be comprehensible for you, regardless of what level you have in Spanish. You can go in the super beginner videos, start here, and just go through these. It's going to even help you to like put how much time you've actually spent watching it. You can filter by the countries, for the accents, the topics, anything you need in terms of getting comprehensible content for Spanish. Even if you're literally starting from day 1, you can do it on Dreaming Spanish. So going back to the challenge, what we want to do is 30 minutes of Dreaming Spanish. Okay, this is if you can't understand native series just yet. You'll get there, but not just yet. So we're going to do 30 minutes of Dreaming Spanish. Our focus here is comprehension. So we do want to find content that is comprehensible. Now, you'll find that when it comes to learning a language through immersion, or mainly through consuming content, there is this battle or this kind of like pendulum, or what do they call it? Like a seesaw, where it's like a balancing act. On the one hand, we have comprehension, and on the other hand, we have enjoyment. And typically, especially as you get more advanced, you'll find that there'll be a crossroads where you'll have to pick whether, okay, I could watch something that's way more comprehensible, but maybe that's not as enjoyable for me, or I could watch something that's really enjoyable, but not as comprehensible. Now, when you're new, what you'll find is that if you just focus on the topics, the content that is more comprehensible, because you have that novelty, especially if this is the first language that you're learning outside of your native language, which I'm assuming is English. This is the first one. The novelty of just consuming content in another language, a lot of the times is enough to take you to the point whereby it's still enjoyable, at least till you get to option two. If you're at the point where you're kind of like, I'm not really in option two, but it's not really as enjoyable. Unfortunately, what we're going to have to do is still stick out. I still want you to do 30 minutes of focusing on comprehensible content. And then we're going to do 30 minutes where you focus on enjoyment. Okay. So 30 minutes is we're going to focus on watching videos that even seem a bit too easy for us, where we understand like pretty much everything that's said. And if you're literally just starting, just go to the super beginner ones. And what you'll find is that, like, because they're drawing and you have the context, you'll at least be able to understand what's going on. And then the second 30 minutes, all we're going to do is watch more content. But this time, if we want to watch something that's a bit more enjoyable, we can. And I'm not too worried about whether you can understand everything. It's not a problem. Some of you, if you're at the really early levels, like even carrying on to watch Stream in Spanish or watch the more comprehensible content will still be enjoyable for you. So you can just carry on watching it. But if you are at a point where you're kind of at that crossroads and you're like, you know what? I mean, I could watch 30 minutes, but if I go beyond that, it gets to the point where it's a little bit like, I want to watch something else, watch something else. We've got 30 minutes and 30 minutes. And that's it. That's it. That's simple. Now, once you get to the point whereby, okay, you can actually understand native level series. Okay, you can start to understand native level series. So we're now at this point. That's option two. What we're going to do is we're going to do something similar, but we are going to change it a little bit. And we're also going to introduce speaking. Yes, we are indeed. We are indeed. How does this work? First of all, we're going to do 30 minutes of consuming content of your choice. And again, this is going to be like the second half of option one. This content is going to be content of your choice. And I want to focus on enjoyment. Okay, focus on something that you actually going to enjoy watching. Because what we're then going to do is we're going to do 20 minutes of reading. And with the reading, I want the focus to be on comprehension. So what we're going to do in a similar way where we did with Dream in Spanish, where we're focusing on finding something that might seem a bit too easy. What you can do is you want to find graded readers' books. Okay, graded reader. So if I type in graded reader Spanish, you'll see like a lot of different books and they'll show like the different levels on there. You got short stories. These are good. I actually I read the ones by Juan Fernandez. If you don't know who he is, he has a channel called, what's it called now? Español con Juan. One of the best, literally. Yeah, literally. This is probably, shout out to whoever did this, but it's probably one of the best ones. Juan Fernandez. All of his ones on, my internet. But essentially, all of his graded reader books will be like A2, B1. It'll be A1, A2, B1, B2. I think maybe the C1, maybe not. But start off by like A2. Start off like it might even feel too simple. That's going to be good because this is where you're going to, this is almost like XP farming for Spanish vocab because you're going to get a lot of XP by reading. So we're just going to do 20 minutes of that, focusing on comprehension. With time, you can get more complex with it. And then one thing we're going to do is you're going to do 10 minutes of speaking, spontaneous speaking, and you're going to record yourself. Now, if you don't know if you don't know what to speak about, you can just go on ChatGPT and ask, okay, I'm doing some Spanish speaking practice. Give me a random topic. Whatever it tells you, record yourself for speaking for 10 minutes, and that's it. It's that simple. And we're going to do this every single day for 60 days straight. Now, the way we're actually going to stay consistent with it, because it's good, like knowing what to do and actually being able to do it are two separate things. So the main actual focus is, okay, how do we consistently do this for 60 days? And here's what I'm going to recommend. Number one, we are going to put our 60-minute slot in a calendar. So I've put the link in there. By the way, the link to this document is below in the description of the video. So you can get all of this in the document. Just click on the link and you'll come straight up. So in the link, I put your calendar here. And I want you to, if you haven't already, create a Google Calendar. Okay. And then download the Google Calendar app on your phone. Okay. And what we're going to do is we are going to put in the first thing you want to do is just put in the things that are fairly fixed for you. Okay, so for example, I'm not going to do the whole thing, but let's say, hypothetically speaking, let's say every day I sleep at 10 p.m. and I wake up at 6 a.m. I can do this. I'm just going to do like the first layer, and I'm going to say this happens every day. Excellent. I'm making progress already. And let's say I work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Excellent. So the first thing I'd say is just put in the things that are things that you have to do. That's Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday. Okay, so first thing is put in the things that you have to do. You'll probably have a few more things on the weekend, maybe go to church, wherever it is, like myself. Excellent. Let's put those in there. Let me change this to sleep. And then let me change this one. Oh, should have done it for all of them. And then the other one I'll change to work, right? So this is just a very simple way of building out a calendar. All events. Change this one to work. Now, all you want to do, right, is you want to find a slot, right? And ideally, this slot should be the same time every day, or at least very close to being the same time every day. So, for example, let me even extend it. Let's say I have to commute, so let's say I even get back at 6:30, and let's say I actually leave at 8:30, and I get back at 6:30. All events, and then interesting. Why is that? Work on weekdays. 1 second. And then let's say maybe this is the gym, hypothetically speaking. And by the way, you can change the colors if you want, but I'm just going to keep it simple, guys. So let's say the gym is red. And let's say that's every day. In fact, it probably isn't every day, but we'll just leave it at that for now. What I'm basically finding is that, okay, it's probably likely that sometime in the evening is the way I have the most consistent 1 hour slot to do my Spanish. So what I'd probably say is, okay, great. Let's say maybe I eat when I come back, or maybe I do this before I eat, whatever it is. But let's say I identified that 7 to 8 p.m. is the optimal time for the Spanish. I'm going to slap that in the calendar. Okay, I'm going to slap it down. I might even put an emoji there as well. And then I'm going to make that repeat every day. Now, following a calendar is a skill, and you might not do it the first time around. Like, it might take some time to get used to, but just having it there, getting the app on your phone as well, and then putting a notification on for that app. Now, if you want to take it to the next level, you can program your phone so that during that 7 to 8 p.m., all of your notifications on your phone are off, and you're just doing Spanish. And I even recommend, like, you might have other times during the day when you're watching Spanish, like passively, maybe at the gym, wherever it is. But this 1 hour is like, okay, I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to close my phone, put it away, and just lock in and do 1 hour of Spanish. Okay. So we're going to set the calendar up. That's the first thing. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to track what we do in our challenge tracker. Now, by the way, again, the link's there. I've already created one for you. All you do is you click on this link. Once you're here, you want to make a copy. So you go to File, Make a Copy. You can call it whatever you want, and it's going to make a copy for you. Excellent. So once you're here, this is a very simple tracker. Obviously, you can adjust this to your own desire. But the main thing is, we actually just want to focus on the habit of tracking rather than the specifics of like exactly what we watched, or even the hours. Like, we're not even tracking how many hours. I'm just tracking if I did the thing. Right? That's all we really want to do. We just want to get in the habit of like, yeah, I did the thing. Next day, yeah, I did the thing. Next day, yeah, I did the thing. So let's say I started today. Today, I'm recording this on the 4th of September to 2025. Let's say you start today, and that's day 1. Then let's say I'm in group 1. So let me go back to this one here. Remember, group 1, that is just going to do 30 minutes of content and then another 30 minutes of content. So what I do is, okay, so the first 10 minutes I did content. The second 10 minutes I did content again. The third 10 minutes I did content again. And by the way, you can make this a bit more complex, but you really don't need to. If you want to, you can. If you're one of those people that likes all the colors and stuff, go ahead. The fourth 10 minutes I did content again, and I did content again. Did the day complete? Yes, I did. Excellent. Fantastic. That's a perfect day. That's all we're going to do. Now, let's say tomorrow. somehow I jumped and now I can understand the series. And I want to do now option 2. Well, for the first 30 minutes, I did content. So that's content, content, content. Then for the next 20 minutes, I did reading. So I can just put reading, reading, and you can change the colors if you want. It's up to you. And then for the last 10 minutes, I did speaking. So I put speaking and I finished the day. Done. And then we just do that. Oh, sorry. Let me put this tomorrow. Then we just do that every day and we come in and track it. And this is actually more of going back to this, like, okay, why are we doing this? Why are we keeping it so simple? Why is it only 60 minutes? Because the goal is we just want to build consistency. Once we have consistency, then we can add intensity. Or if we want, once we have consistency, then we can add complexity. That's when we can get really into the nitty gritty of, okay, maybe we should add some Anki, maybe we should add some this, maybe we should add some exercises, maybe we should look at word farming, maybe we should look at, we can do all of that. But let's start with the consistency. Once we have the consistency, then we add intensity, or then we add the complexity, right? So just to give you a brief overview, 60 minutes a day, 60 days straight, depending on where you're at right now. If you can understand series, at least 60% of them, then great. We do 30 minutes of content, 20 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of speaking. If not, we do 30 minutes of content where we're optimizing for comprehension, and then 30 minutes where we're optimizing for enjoyment. And that's it. Now, by the way, if you want to do this challenge with myself in our private group, you've got the link here, is also in the description as well. And I will see you in the next video.